Hey guys, welcome. My name is David. This is the Learn Pandas group Q&A. This is where everybody who has joined my Learn Pandas course gets the chance to ask me any questions about it. I also share more tutorials here in the Q&A. And if this is your first time and you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me show you. Go to the description of the video. And let me see if I can find my description. Blah blah blah. Give me a second here. All right. If you go to my description video, you will see. Let me see if I could switch to. Bam. All right. All right. So if you click on the link in my description, you're gonna get to see the following. My Pandas Ninja course. Now this is a oh, I put the course here. Yeah, this is the entire course. You do get it 100% free. It's normally $297, but I am offering all of this for you guys for free. And if you have any questions, well, all you got to do is come to this Q&A and ask me whatever you want. Okay, so what I have for you guys today is the following. Let me switch again, and I'm gonna share this with you. Okay, so what I want to share is a tutorial that I have not shared before. And I think I'm going to share it on LinkedIn first, and then eventually it'll get to the Pandas group. Um, and I wanted just to show you how I recommend you to go through my tutorials. I send my group a total of about a tutorial a week. And I think as of today, I have about a year's worth of tutorials. So I think I have about 48 tutorials. So that's plenty, more than plenty just to get some practice. And I want to show you how I recommend you guys practice with my tutorials. All right, so I got this tutorial here, and this tutorial to cover what's about, it's basically talking about elections. Over here in the USA, we're going to have elections in November, which is next month. Well, a couple months next month. We're basically in October, so in in like less under 40 days, we're going to have an election, and there's two major parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. So this tutorial is going to be about helping either one of those two parties, either the DNC or the RNC, and they have a bunch of voter demographics and donation data, and they need your help to dig through the data and help them in win the election basically. And as a disclaimer, this is all bogus data. It's all make believe. It's all synthetic data, and it's just to practice. All right. So how do I recommend you do this? I recommend you open my tutorial, whatever tutorial you get. It doesn't have to be this one. And then next to it, I want you to open a blank notebook. And I need you to not just read the tutorial, I need you to actually write code. Now, for this example, I'm not going to do some of the stuff that I'm going to recommend you to do just because I created the tutorial. And for the sake of not dragging this tutorial out too long, but let me show you how I recommend you do it. All right, so you're going to read the description. It's just a basic description to get an idea of what the data is about. And then under every tutorial, I will have, in general, 3 tasks. And so this is the 3 things we're going to do with each, with the data here. All right. So let's hold on the task because I restate the task as you keep going through the notebook, but just know that there's going to be 3 things we're going to do with the data. All right. This, all right. So then the next step is we're going to import the library. So I recommend you just copy it and go to your notebook and start off there. Run the imports. And since I have no idea how you have set up your pandas installation, you want to make sure you have the libraries imported. Now, if you want to be extra sure, you could print the versions of Python, Pandas, and NumPy. But for now, let's just say that all you need to do is import. All right. The next thing is going to talk about the data. And I kind of give you a little blurb of what the data is about, maybe how much rows they have. And here you have a good number of rows, right? 100,000 voters and 50,000 donations. And I usually tell you the columns for each of the data frames. So for example, I have 2 data sets here. One of them just has voter information, tells you what state they're from, tells you their age, and what party affiliation. All right. And then there's a donations data set that ties the voter ID from the first data set with the second one. And it also has the date they donated and then the amount. This is very basic, very, very basic. All right. So what I recommend you do next is you actually copy this entire block of code. Is there a way to copy it? I guess not. All right, so let's just copy all this and then go to our, oh, I didn't copy. Let's try again. Okay, there you go. And run it, which you remember you run Shift Enter. All right, so what do we do here? So let's kind of break some of this down so you guys kind of see what's happening. All right, so remember, I always set this mp.random.c to 0 because I want the data to be generated randomly, but I want the same set of random numbers to be generated for you when you run it at home, because I want you to get the same data that I get. Because if you have different random numbers than me, then it's going to be hard to determine if you're doing it right or if you're doing it wrong. So I always set it, and I always set it to 0. Kind of doesn't matter as long as when you run it, you get the same data I do. And this is going to ensure that. This next part is, I declare a variable, basic, and then I create a data frame. And then in all these cases, I'm using a dictionary. So you see this curly braces, that is a Python dictionary. And then each dictionary is going to have a key and a value. These are all the keys. And these are going to be the columns in our data frame. And the values are going to be this, whatever is on the right side. So range, if you want to see how range works, just see what does range 2 do. That's what it does. What does range 3 does? It just makes a number between 0 and 3. Watch. For I in range 3, print I 0, 1, 2. If I do 5, it's gonna go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just giving me a number. I'm just generating numbers, and I'm generating 10,000 of them. That's where we get the voter ID from. All right. So this next piece, mp.random, if you run it, oh, I apologize. There you go. So it's gonna randomly choose one of these strings. That's it. So every time you run it, it's gonna be a random string. You see that? So that's what I do, and I do it 10,000 times, right? That's it. And then I get a random integer between 18 and 80. So this is gonna be the data set is going to attempt to come up with random ages for all these voters. They're going to be 18 because you have to vote in the US, you have to be at least 18 years old, and they go up to 80. There's really no limit, but 80 was the number chosen here. Nothing of significance. And obviously I did that 10,000 times so that I have an entire data set of that many rows. And then party affiliation works just like the state up here, except there's going to be three parties. Democrat, we talked about, Republican, we talked about, and then there's another one called independent. Um, for this tutorial, we'll see if it's important, but the two main ones are these two, right? The next president is going to be either Democrat or Republican, pretty sure for this election. All right. So, anyway, so that is the voter demographics. And when we go to the donations data, it's going to be the same format. We're going to create a data frame, and we are using a Python dictionary. It's only going to have 3 columns. And again, voter ID, we're going to generate 10. We're going to generate 10,000, but we're actually going to make it 50,000. So we're going to generate randomly a number between 0 and 10,000. And we're going to do that 50,000 times. That's all we're doing there. And then for the dates, okay, here's another nice one. Let's see if I could show you how these dates work. So if you don't know how these date works, just paste it in an empty cell and just play with it. So let's do basic stuff. Let's see what happens when I do that. Generate a date between January 1st to January 5th, and just do one of them. Then you're only going to get one. What if I do three? Then it's going to generate 1, 3, and 5. So it's generating random dates between these two dates. As you can see, I keep running it, and it's 3. And if I do 5, it's going to be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, there's 5 dates between January 1st to January 5. If I do 5 periods, it's going to give me all the dates. What if I do more? What if I do 10? Let's do 9. What if I do 9? I get 1, and then I get 1 again, and then 2, and then 2, and then 3, and then 3. See, this is how it's working. 20. And it's really random dates. You can see that these dates have different timestamps. So you kind of get the idea how this works. You're able to generate almost an unlimited number of dates between two specific dates. And in my case, I generated dates between the 22nd of, 2022, that's the year, all the way up to, close to election day, which is coming up sometime in November. Okay, what's the actual date? Election date. Give me a second. The election is the 5th of November. Okay, so I actually chose the day right before the election. Everybody votes. So, theoretically, you should be able to donate to the candidate. I don't know what the rules are, but I decided to go one day before election day. All right. And then the donation amount is going to be how much money did we donate to the candidates, these voters here. and I created a donation between $10 and $1,000. That's good money, right? $1,000. And I did that 50,000 times because again, remember the donations data frames is gonna contain 50,000 rows, which represent people donating to candidates, 50,000 of them. All of donations between $10 and donations between 1,000. And if you want to change this, maybe you want different dates, maybe you want a smaller data set, maybe you want a bigger data set, maybe you want different donation amounts, maybe you don't want to do random, maybe you want to use a different random function so you don't get uniform distributions, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's the data, and we just ran it. All right. So if you go back to the tutorial, usually, okay. So what I did here is I actually generated CSV files. Here, let's open them. Are we gonna be able to see my? Here, let me open one of them. Donations. And let me see if I'm gonna be able to show them to you on the screen. Let me see how to do that. Give me a second. Share. All right. I think that worked. Okay, there you go. Let me zoom in. So I opened up the donation CSV file and wow, look at how Excel did this. So, forgive Excel, but see all these voter IDs? These are all random IDs that got generated, and I generated a total of 50,000. You can see that. And then every voter ID is going to have a date. And as you can see, a lot of these dates here ended up being in January, but some of them are going to be in November. They're going to be all over the board. Now, for some reason, Excel is showing these as a very weird date, but it's Excel. What do you expect? All right, so if you do this, it looks a little better. You can see it kind of gave it a date, right? So this person with that voter ID donated on January 1st, and this is the amount they generated. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you that CSV file. All right, let me go back and let's go back to our notebook. Okay. Now that we're back in our notebook, so that's what we did here. We saved the data frames to CSV file. And the only reason I did that is to show you that you're able to go back and forth from data frame to CSV and then back to data frame. So now notice that I did not include the index, and I did that on purpose because it's going to be cleaner. The index not really going to have much of a purpose. And all I did was I read them back in. So that's what I did in the next cell here. So let's just go back over here on your side and read them in. And make sure you're able to read them in and make sure this code that I wrote here actually works. So the first thing I do is I always check the data types. And let me show you what I mean by that. So that info is going to look at the data frame. It's going to tell you how many rows it has, 10,000. It's going to tell you how many columns you have. It's going to tell you the name of every column. And it's going to tell you their data type. And another important thing, it's going to tell you how many null values it found. If there's any missing values, it'll actually tell you right here. Oh, somebody's on. Hi, Edu. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Feel free to type in any questions. Yep. All right. So let's go back. All right. So this was info. Yeah. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will help you out. Okay. So df.info. So what I like to look for here is the data types, because sometimes when we read files from CSV and Excel, the data types get all screwy. But voter ID, I expect voter ID to be a number, so this is fine. States are strings. So when you see the word object, basically it's a string. So that looks good. Age, we expect it to be numbers. So there's your number. Party affiliation, remember that was either Democrat, Republican. Those were strings, so we expect the object. So this data frame looks good in terms of their data types. It doesn't have any missing values, so everything's fine. So let's do the same thing with the other one. So we just copy this guy and we run it. Okie dokie. So for the donations one, um, we have 50,000 entries, which is what we expected. We got 3 columns, and the voter ID is a number. That looks good. The donation date is an object. Now, this is a problem because we don't want donation dates to be objects. We want them to be date objects. So this is an example, and this is why I put it here. That sometimes when you read in certain columns, their data types don't come in like we need them to. And this is one. This should be a data object, but it's not. So later in the code, we're going to fix that. And then donation amount is how much they donated to their political party. So here you go. All right. I see a question here. When I try to read an Excel file, show compare mode, which can't be read. You should be able to read. You should be able to read XLS. You should be able to read the old version of Excel, and you should be able to read the new version. And you know the difference is because the old version has. Here, let me see if I can type it. Let me see if I can type it here. The old version is .xlss, and then the new version is .xlsx. It should be able to read it, no problem. The only time you might have issues is I don't. It really depends what's inside the Excel file. But if it's regular data, regular structured data that has columns and rows, and it just has basic data, it should be fine. If you're having an issue, you could send it to me and I could take a look. But in general, yeah, it should be fine. Another thing you could do is you could try to export to CSV and then import it, and maybe. So that's a couple ideas, but in general, yeah, you should be able to read it. The examples that I show here are pretty simple, so you're not gonna really see a lot of issues. All right, so next thing. So I put a note here in the tutorial that we're gonna have to convert the date column, and we'll do that in task 2. All right, so we'll see how much. I don't know if we're gonna get through all three tasks, but let's see how far we get before it gets too long. Too long. I don't want to put you guys to sleep. All right. So for the first task, they want us to merge the two data sets. Oh, the old version. Yeah, yeah. That. Yeah. If you open, yeah, Edu. If you have the new version of Excel, it should allow you to open the old version of Excel, and you should be able to save as, and you should be able to save it as the new version, which might help, might help. But I know. Oh, you guys can't change it. Hmm. What about saving it as CSV? You could try that. Save it as CSV. That might help because CSV will definitely strip any weird characters, and CSV is just straight text. So that should make it a lot easier. Okay, so another trick you could do is you could copy the data from your Excel file. Just Control C for read. Mm, I didn't understand that. But if you open your Excel file, the old one, and you copy it, Control C, you could you could then go here. Let me just show it to you so you can see what I'm saying. Let me open Excel. So you could try this because this I've done this for a SQL and it works really good. So let me switch to Excel and I'll show you. Okay, so let's say you have your old Excel stuff here, and I don't know, you had column key. Oh wait, is it showing up? Okay, there you go. Let's say you had a column key value. I don't know, and then we'll put here, I don't know, blue, red, yellow, and then we'll just, I don't know. So let's say this was your Excel file that you had, your old one at work, wherever you're working with this. If you copy it, you could then switch over to, let's switch over to our pandas. All right, I'm switching over. Okay, you can switch over to pandas, and here you could go df pd dot. There's a read clipboard. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. There we go. You could do read clipboard, and you have it right there. So you could copy and read it in. I want to automate my system to generate the file. Oh, Payata GUI. Okay. You might so the only way you're able to get the data is from Excel? Huh. If you're only able to get it from Excel, um yeah, you should be able to do it. You should be able to do that. I'm not sure why your software is preventing you from reading the old Excel file. Yeah, you should be able to read it. The only thing I could think of is how the software is writing the Excel files. Maybe the software that you have, isn't there a way to export the data in some other format? It should give you other options. If the only option is Excel, that's kind of weird. It should let you do a text, maybe. It should let you do a CSV, maybe JSON. Um, yeah, if you want, you can send it to me, and I could take a look. Oh, oh, that's a different problem. If you see the file, but Pandas doesn't see it, that's a different problem. That could be, yeah, it could be a different problem. Yeah, I don't know how you have it set up, so yeah, you got to make sure that your file path is correct. Yeah, yeah. Or you might have to move it from the wherever the program saves it, move it somewhere else, and then read it. Okay. Oh. Oh, really? Hmm. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so it does work when you change the file version. Huh. Yeah, I would figure a way to either you could either program a file change or find a way to export it differently. But yeah, I've read the old version of Excel with pandas. Unless they got rid of it. Let's see. Read XLS pandas. I don't think they got rid of it. Yeah. Yeah, it supports it. Read Excel, the pandas function read Excel supports it. So you should be good. I'm not sure exactly. Um, yeah. If you share with me again, I could try to read it and see if it's an issue with the file. But pandas, in general, it should be able to read um, your old Excel format. All right. So let's continue. Um, I think Pandas in the background uses one of those. I don't know. I'm not sure which library it uses. Um, but by default, it should just do it. Yeah, like if you type read Excel pandas. Here, I'll send you a link. If you go to this link, you'll see that it says, "Hey, I support the old Excel, the new Excel." It could even read macros. No, when you give it the path of your Excel file, the file extension determines if you're using the old or the new version of Excel. So you pass the file path, and then in the end, it's going to either end in XLS or end in XLSX. So you all you got to do is pass the file path. That's it, and then it will take care of reading it. Let me see if it tells you. I don't know which version they use. Let me see if it says it. Mm, I don't know what library they use. Yeah, I don't know what. Let me see. Oh, you saying you have like a super old version? Let me see. I don't think so. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. Only So here, let me switch the screen to so if you go to the pandas documentation, you could try this. It might work. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of issues with reading Excel, but take a look. If you go to the pandas documentation where it has read Excel, there is an engine parameter. Let me try to make it bigger. So you could try to change the engine to Calamine, maybe. And it says it uses the old versions of Excel. And then there is XLRD, and that one says support all style. So you could try to change the engine. I haven't used it, but it might do something for you. And let me see anything else that might help. Mm, I think that's it. Yeah, I would try to mess with this. How you try this one, calamine? That might work. And then what's the error you're getting? No. If you show me the error, maybe I could help a little more, because I have no idea what's not working. Shows incompatible. Oh, incompatible. Okay. Calamine. Hey, what about that one? Yeah, try that one. See. Incompatible with XLRD. When reading. Um. Okay. All right. Yeah, try it out and let me know. And if you still stuck with that one, yeah, email me. Email me, and I could see if I could get it working on my end, and I'll tell you what I did. Um, but yeah, yeah, old Excel files, not fun, not fun to deal with. All right, let's see if we could finish the first task, and then if you have any other questions, send them on over. All right. So where were we? Okay. Task one, we needed to merge two data sets. And then after we merge them, we calculate the donations received from each state. Okay. So let's let's go back to here and merging. Okay, so merging is really simple. All we're gonna do is we're gonna grab yeah, you wanted to read Excel and to generate a bill. Oh, how are you generating the bill? How do you are you gonna generate a PDF, or how do you plan to generate the bill? Because pandas is not good to generate like you mean like a bill, like a PDF bill? Is that what you mean? Oh, okay. Okay. So some of the stuff you're gonna use pandas, and then the rest you're gonna use the pi auto GUI. Okay, yeah, yeah, little by little. Um, but the pandas piece, yep, you should be able to grab data, manipulate it however you want, and then yeah, I don't know exactly what your final result's gonna be, but yeah, I see it. You could probably do it. Um, yeah, 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 I think so. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, so the merging is super simple. Indent or order in Excel. Oh, you get an order in Excel, and then you have to read that and type it automatically. Oh, oh, yeah. So one thing to, oh, the third party. Yeah, third party software is beating you up. Yeah, when you do automation, if possible, it looks like you can't, but if possible, avoid Excel. Excel's not a friend of automation. Yeah, regular text files, that's good. JSON, XML, databases, Excel. No, Excel is to send a report out to somebody, a human to read. Excel's for human. So yeah, unfortunately, you're stuck with Excel, but Excel, it's not good to automate. Yeah, yeah. I'm getting order in Excel. Yeah, you're getting the orders in Excel. Yeah, that's gonna be tricky. Tricky because with Excel, you could do anything with Excel. You could do formulas, you could do macros, colors, they merge cells. You could do a lot of stuff with Excel. So it's gonna be hard to automate it if they start doing weird stuff to the Excel files. So when you have like a very structured file like CSV, a JSON file, and then that is that forces the other person of giving you a format that is the same every time, and then you can automate it. But with Excel, it gets tricky, very tricky. Um, so so yeah, good luck with that one. Yeah, the old version. Yeah, again, try changing the engine or send it to me. Send it to my email. Here, I'll send you my email. Yeah, send it to me and I'll try to read it. You could take away, all your if it has customer names, you don't have to give me any of that. Just strip all the customer name out so you don't give away your customer information and send me the file and I'll try to read it and let you know if how I get to do it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, let's finish this out because we're starting to reach the hour. Okay, quickly. When you merge two data frames, all you gotta do is pick a data frame to start with. Click dot merge, and then if you know what column we're gonna join on, then you put it on the on here on voter ID. So for these two data sets, obviously there is no other column to join but besides voter ID. That's it. We're gonna join on both of them. And one thing to note, this is when we join in Pandas, by default, we're doing an inner merge. So for those database folks, inner merge means that for this example, voter ID has to match on both data frames. If they don't match, you're not gonna pull that record. So there's a left join, there's a right join, but we're doing inner joins here. And that's kind of it. You run this, and the two data frames get joined on voter ID. Yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then the last piece to end it out is now that we have the data all in one data frame, we under the df variable. The last piece is we're going to group by state because we're trying to figure out what are the total donations for each state. So we first group by the state. So let's do that. Go over here. We do the group by the state. And then here, we'll do this little by little. And then we're going to get that group. And we're only going to pick the donation amount because we don't want to do any calculations on anything else. And then we're gonna sum up. So everything in one state, all the donations, we sum them up. And that's it. So when we run this, you'll see that every state is gonna have a number, and these are the total donations for every state in that group. And if you wanted to order the data by the smallest to greatest or greatest to smallest, that's when you use sort values. And sort values by default is smallest to greatest. So if you want to make it greatest to smallest, you have to add ascending is false. Array allowed pop method, but numpy array don't. Oh, yeah. For let me see, what is the equivalent of Python pop on. So for NumPy, it's delete. Here, let me give you an example. It's delete. Oh, it came out ugly. Is there a way to try mp.delete? Yeah, it's ugly what I put there, but mp.delete. If you're gonna use NumPy, I try to stick with basic Python unless maybe NumPy has better performance. Oh, you gotta do pop. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, pop. Yeah, so pop didn't work, you said? Pop string array works, but numbers don't. Oh. Yeah, it should work. Because when you go pop dot, when you go pop by one to read. Oh. Okay. Why don't you loop by it? You can't just loop through your array? Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to do that. Um, yeah, you can loop. Yeah, if you loop through the array, you can then loop through it one at a time and then do whatever you want with it. Right? Oh, you make an empty array at the end. Oh, is that how you're fixing it? Hmm. Oh, you pop it and then you go to the next one and you. That's interesting. Oh. to loop. Maybe you could do something like this. Let me see. Yeah, I wonder if I could send this to you a little nicer. Here, what about this? This is ugly. But anyways, you could probably make it a list and then just keep popping it in a while statement. I don't know, an idea there. So you could convert it to a list, your array, and and then still use pop if you wanted to. Oh, it's not working for the numbers? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, okay. That's odd. It should work. Wonder why it's not working for a number. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see your code, but anyways, all right, Edu, thanks for joining. I enjoyed. Attempted to help you out today. Hopefully, I did. Send me your CSV file. I mean your Excel file, and I will try to see if I could make it work through Pandas. I could read it in. I should be able to read it in. Okay. Okay. Yeah, keep playing with it. I'm sure you're gonna get it. I'm sure you'll get it. I'm sure you get it. But anyways, my time is up. I gotta go. It is late on my time, and I will see you on the next live stream, maybe. Until next time.